This is Donald Trump, and you're listening to The Radio with John Santo. This is the number one show on this network at this time on this day. No other show even comes close. I mean, they don't even come close. Well, they can't because it's impossible physically. Because it's the only show on this network at this time on this day. Here's your host. He's so terrific. I love him, John Santo. Thank you, President Trump. See, we are the number one show on this network at this time on this day, because we're the only show on this network at this time on this day. But still, it's not inaccurate. And joining me today is my wonderful guest co-host,
Fabulous John Larocchia.
Larocchia. Like this.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled. I'm tired.
You're tired? You were in California.
I was in California adjusting to the time. I stayed on New York time, by the way. Did I tell you
How
that?
many days were you in there that you were able to stay on New York time?
I stayed on New York time I got up 3:30 every morning, 6:30 New York time. I loved it because I did my exercise.
All right.
And I was able to get enough work done that when I went to class, I felt like I already did like a nice amount of work.
Okay.
Because I'm fresh in the morning to do computer work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for me. And then I went to class and I was doing a lot of physical stuff.
Yeah.
But what happens is every day you start going to bed a little later.
And
You know.
and how many days was the total on the ground there?
I landed on Monday and then I took off Friday morning, 7 a.m. flight. Homeland Security gives you 6:30, 7 a.m. flights.
No, but what time? How many days were you there?
I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I took off Friday. So
That's hard to stay on New York time for that amount of time.
well, it's. I think that's the borderline. Like after that, you're gonna have to start adjusting. If you stay 2 weeks,
Yeah, that's
but I was there 4
even.
days.
I mean, I did a one where I flew in the day before. I was on the ground one day, and then I flew home the next morning.
Yeah.
So they even kept us because they knew everybody was from the East Coast.
You said that.
They kept
Meals.
us on New York time. Our meals were adjusted. Everything was adjusted to keep us on New York time because it was a business meeting.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
we went to California. And,
Well, the breakfast we were eating right at 12 because you're eating breakfast at 6, lunch, and then dinner they wanted to go at 5,
Yeah.
and I wasn't ready for dinner at 5.
You know what I did one time?
Tell me.
The longest overnight, single day trip. I flew down to Orlando.
Right.
6:00 a.m. flight or 7 a.m. flight. Down, got there, ate something real quick about 11 o'clock. By the time we got to the rental
Right,
car and
right.
all that, did the presentation to the Orlando people,
Right.
and then flew
All
home.
the Orlando people.
Flew home that day. The Orlando group that we
The
were presenting
Orlando
to
group.
at the convention center, and then we flew home that night. 4 o'clock
A lot
flight
of people
back.
do that, a meeting here, but you wouldn't do that in California.
I mean, I was on I was in the air more than I was on the ground in
Right,
Orlando.
right.
I mean, almost. It
You're a
was,
jet setter. You're a jet setter.
yeah, I was a jet setter. That's when I used to do those. But it's very expensive. Like when I did that overnight to California,
Yeah.
my boss, who I worked for at the time, was an astronaut,
Right.
and he's like, "John, you have to go out to see JD Power tomorrow."
Right.
I said, "Tom, booking a flight
Sure.
last minute, I
Astronomical.
said it's going to cost more to fly me to California than it did to fly you in space."
Yeah. Yeah.
He laughed. He thought that was funny.
Well, I remember
But he didn't.
I told you
didn't
when I
matter.
went to Italy, and my boss said, you ever go to Italy? I said, no. You want to do a class on the military base in Italy?
This is when you went to Aviano, right?
Yeah, I said, sure. So I got prices. It was cheaper for me to stay for 4 days with hotel, car, food, than to fly there and fly back.
Right.
Like fly the day before, teach the class, fly home that night.
Well, you know what Ronnie Dangerfield used to say?
No, what did he say?
My travel agent told me I could spend 6 nights in Puerto Rico. No days, just 6 nights. I said, what do I do during the day? He said, whatever you want, just stay out of Puerto Rico. That's because it's so, like the way the travel industry works, like it's not based on distance flown. It's based
Right.
on city pairs. One time I took a flight from LaGuardia through Chicago, O'Hare, to Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Right,
I had to go to the air show there.
right,
That was $229.
right.
So I took a United flight to Chicago on a Midway, onto Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
If I had gotten off in Chicago, because I was going to do business in Chicago and then continue on, would have been $600 for that flight. So people are like, how could that be? You're flying more distance. It doesn't matter. The economics of New York to Chicago for that kind of business trip
Right.
valued at $600.
Sure.
Continuing on the same flight, right? That same seat. I'm taking up the same seat into Chicago, but going on to Oshkosh. That economics. So imagine if they'd flown
Did you
me
really
directly.
go to Oshkosh, or are you just making up?
Oshkosh,
Because
Wisconsin.
a lot of people say Oshkosh,
Way the hell out to Oshkosh,
but
right?
that means Oshkosh.
Let me tell
mean
you-
the actual place of Oshkosh.
Let me tell you something about Oshkosh. The Oshkosh Air Show. I went in July of 2001. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the show I went to where I said I was in the F-15s
Right.
in July of 2001 from Otis Air National Guard Base.
Right.
And then 9/11, a few weeks later, I'm watching them fly over protecting Manhattan.
Right.
So I saw them in peacetime and wartime, and that freaked
Right.
me out. That was like really, that kind of like freaked me out. Anyway, so I did fly to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. That is the biggest air show in the world. It's the biggest trade show of any event of any industry in the world. 700,000 attendees.
Wow.
They all fly in, they camp out. It's the busiest airport in the world for that week. You have to file your flight plan months in advance. They have control towers at the airport. You know, the typical at the airport tower. They have outer towers
Just for the
on
Oshkosh.
all of the approach points.
Right.
And they have predetermined approach points. You have to follow those rules.
Well, we have that here in New
pre-published.
York, right?
No, but this is like you're talking about hundreds of light aircraft, private aircraft flying in. So they have towers like 20 miles away from the airport, and they're watching this line of aircraft come in,
Right,
and
right.
they clear you into the next zone,
Right, right.
very carefully,
Right.
because they have a lot of airplanes
Interesting.
converging on that limited
Interesting.
airspace. But it's an incredible show. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like I saw old World War II bombers bomb a runway. They don't really bomb it; they fly low, and then they have pyrotechnics. But there's real explosions.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
that's
I mean,
cool.
what they do. Yeah, highly recommend if you're an aviation aficionado like I am.
Right. They would probably know about it already, though, if they were in aviation.
Yeah, they should know about it.
Right.
But if you're just below the aficionado level and you're seeking to get into the Oshkosh is amazing.
I'm actually an Oshkosh aficionado. I just want to go to Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
Yeah, I don't care about the planes.
So you know what the joke was when we were out there? I was because
Oshkosh
we had
by
to
gosh.
stay an hour. I had to stay in Green Bay,
Yeah.
right by the stadium, but the Packers play.
Because the
That's the
rooms
closest.
filled up.
Closest hotel I was an hour away. So I actually kidnapped my coworkers because in 2001, I hadn't had a Dairy Queen since the 80s. When I was a kid, we used to go by Action Park. There was a Dairy Queen.
I didn't live out here.
So somebody told me there's a Dairy Queen. I'm like, we're going. They're like, no, we have to get back to the hotel. Well, I'm driving the rental car.
Was there a Dairy King also? No.
No, there was a Burger King.
No, Burger King. We used to have a Dairy Queen then on 63rd Drive in Queens and Woodhaven Boulevard. Yes. And my cousin, who's in Florida now, would drive me down on his bike. I'd sit on that bar.
Right.
He was like my big brother.
Yeah.
He's like 63 now. I'm 60. It was like he was so much older than me back then.
Right, back then.
You
yeah.
know?
Now
And
it's
we-
just now it's a 0.5% or whatever.
Yeah. And we would go to Dairy Queen. That's where we'd go. Yeah.
Dairy Queen. Right. So if Burger King married Dairy Queen, they'd move into White Castle.
Oh,
Isn't that
that's an old
clever?
joke.
Little
Yes.
pun.
They'd
Little
be-
pun there.
They'd have hardened arteries too.
So you have to tell everybody because not
Yes.
everybody knows that you're a world class hazmatician.
Well, I'm not a world class hazmatician. I teach courses related in certain
To
topics.
hazmat, right.
Yes, but
Now-
I'm not up on my game with a lot of this. But go ahead.
So when you're in the media,
you're
supposed to project confidence.
I'm
and
very
confident
I'm very confident that I'm not an expert.
that you're not an expert. Well,
But I know some stuff.
I think you're being very modest because you are the best hazmat person I know.
Well, that's not saying much. You don't
So
know.
I struggled a lot with hazmat when I was a volunteer firefighter. I
Yes.
didn't really understand. I knew the basics of it. I knew that the rule of thumb for me was if I could still see the incident with my thumb
Right,
in front of my face, I'm
right.
too close.
Well, the thing.
I mean, with my thumb blocking it, if I could still, I'm too close.
The simple things with hazmat. Number one, everybody talks about chemical warfare agents and all that. It's just they call that hazmat with an attitude.
Well,
You
that's
treat it the same.
yeah, but that's terrorism.
Yes.
right. I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm talking about like a. All right, so we can talk about that too, but
Don't mix stuff. Number one.
Don't
Let's
mix
start
what.
there.
Right.
Don't mix-
no,
don't mix stuff.
stuff. Right.
You know, if you're not an expert, Don't mix stuff. You know, you could only end up bad. Like some people, they clean the toilet, they put a drain cleaner in, they run out of it, they pour something else in, ammonia, whatever.
Right.
Things are going to react at times and knock you on your tush.
Do you know what I put in there for the toilet?
What?
I read it on Massapequa Moms.
What?
I put in baking soda and
Nice.
vinegar.
Why?
Distilled vinegar.
What is
It
vinegar?
worked.
What's the pH of vinegar? What's the pH of
I could-
baking soda? Is it because they react with each other? Or, you know,
it did fizzle like Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't put too much of it. You put very little in. You
Yeah.
can always put more, but you can't put less.
Because you're not going to hurt the pipes with that? Is that the...
You're not going to hurt the pipes, and I left it in for overnight. The next day, flush a Rooney.
I bought at Ace the other day a plunger to clean out the... you
That's one of those
not a
force ones.
plunger.
Yeah. It's
Hope,
like a force.
And I bought it as a Christmas gift for my nephew.
Now, this whole thing, the reason why we're getting more clogged toilets.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw President Trump talk about it the other day.
I did not. What is the reason?
This is serious. I'm not even kidding. He
What's the
said,
reason?
he goes, we're looking at the toilets, the low-flow toilets, because some people are flushing 10 and 15 times. It's horrible, right? So I actually made a funny video about it where I'm in the bathroom and I wasn't, really in the bathroom.
Right.
I was just sitting on the toilet. I was full of
Right, I
clothes.
gotcha.
For
But you
humanitarian.
were in the bathroom.
In the bathroom. And I made like a Trump video with my wig on my
Right,
Facebook
right.
and everything. Nobody watched it, but it was. I thought it was funny. But it's serious. I mean, the low flow they found, because it takes so much more, I will say, energy, if you will, to move the material through.
Right. The low flow isn't doing
the low
it.
flow isn't doing it. So I said, well, I mean, if you make it number one, the low flow is, it's
It's
gonna
fine.
it's gonna move the pee-pee.
Right.
If you make it number two and it's a biggie, it's a bigly biggie.
big boy.
You know what I'm talking about? A big one, a very big one. Then you should have like a button to go to max power.
Well, they do have two buttons on certain bowls.
Well, that's good. They should have, because this way, when you need the extra
Power.
like Scotty, I need more power.
We're talking toilets.
Talking toilets. Well, only because the president brought it up. I mean, he's in the cabinet room talking about low flow toilets. If that's not comedy gold, what is?
Right.
Right.
There was something else.
And
I
as a
wanted-
Trump impressionist, wouldn't it be malpractice if I didn't make
You
some
have
kind
to.
of satire?
Absolutely.
About them?
When I made when I was doing my singing and comedy show.
You sing?
Singing? Name a song.
Oh,
I'll sing
well,
right now.
first of all, I right now my show's
Happy
doing well. The show was doing
holidays.
well.
Happy holidays. I sing very well.
That's very Bing Crosby like.
I sing. I can sing.
But
I can carry tune.
I've seen your videos of you singing in the car.
Not bad. Not bad.
So I love you, but those are horrific. Those, if you played them for Al Qaeda, they would tell us everything.
I can carry a tune. But I did this goofy show back in the day. I actually worked with a piano player, rehearsed my music.
How do I know you? I know you for 10 years now.
Yeah.
This is our 10-year anniversary, by the way. High five.
This is something that
How do I
don't-
not know this about you?
Because I don't want people to know.
Well, maybe there's a
No.
good reason.
No, I had fun. I had a lot of fun. What was his? Rich Atkins was the piano player and musical director. Rich Atkins.
And for those of us, including myself, that don't know who that is.
No, I'm saying that was the guy's
Oh,
name.
I thought
For
it
me-
was. I
no,
thought I
no.
was supposed to know who it
Oh,
was.
no, no,
Oh, I'm like Rich
No,
Atkins.
Richie's very. If Richie is still around.
No offense to Rich Atkins,
right
but I
now, he's
don't know
like,
who you are.
Why is he saying my name affiliated with him singing? So I did the show. It was singing and comedy. I actually sang. What did I sing? Jump Shot Boogie.
Jump shot boogie.
Johnny Be Good. I Johnny Be Good. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But my postcards, because how do you get people to come to the shows? There's no internet back then. We're talking
What-
30 years ago.
Right? No, there was no internet.
30 years ago. So I had these postcards made up.
That was
and it
89,
And it
yeah.
was me sitting on a toilet, and it said seats are limited.
Seats are
Seats are
limited.
limited.
Well, it
Call-
sounds like only the crappy seats
yeah.
are left.
Call early, seats are limited. And then Paula came down and sang one night, one song, and they didn't want her to get off the stage. They didn't want me back.
Well, she can sing, your wife.
course.
Your daughter can sing.
Yes.
You can't.
I can
No, you
carry a
can.
tune
You
with
can
a
carry
certain
a tune.
song. No, I'm not going to belt it out. I'm
No,
not
no,
going to
no,
pick
no.
a song that but I can, like...
Can
Johnny Be
I,
Good.
can I tell you a story that happened to me? True story.
Yeah,
And
it's your show. Don't you remember?
I forget because I have such an experienced Long Island
comedy and entertainment legend here.
Well, no, you don't. But
So 89. It's about 30 years. 30 years.
Yeah.
I went to SUNY Farmingdale, and I was in the car, and I had a Chevy Citation, and sometimes the radio would cut out if I hit a bump. So I was hitting like a high note. I forget the name of the song. It'll come to me later. And I hit a high note.
right,
And I went over the bump.
right,
And then the music, which would drown out my horrificness,
left.
stopped.
And
And
you
these
was-
two girls were walking towards, on the walkway
Right,
there, and they're
right.
like, ah, what the hell's that?
That's hysterical. Is this an hour show?
This is a 1 hour show. You can't leave until 10
I'm
o'clock.
done with what I have to talk about. It's 15 minutes after the hour.
Right, well, you haven't talked about. I have plenty of stuff here.
I'm kidding you. I'll get you.
We have so much stuff.
Can I talk about my my California trip?
We could talk about that, but we should. Can we talk? I had
Yes.
Jack Cloonan on 2 weeks ago.
Okay, love the Jack guy.
And Jack had just done the gala.
Yes.
So I thought we'd do like a quick thing about the gala.
With the gala,
The Laughter
almost
Saves
gala.
Lives almost gala.
You know, I got the biggest compliment today from through my son. We call it an almost gala. Why? Because I want to keep it blue collar. I
Mm-hmm.
want to keep it firemen, cops can afford to
Veterans.
come.
We had veterans.
Veterans,
Veterans.
yes. And we're a little unorganized, but it all works out, and it's fun, and everybody chips in, and it's not the kind of thing where I'm hiring a director, a party director, right?
It's like a thing. So everybody, I don't know how, but like it seems like there's so much to do. How's it all get? It all seems to happen.
Well, here's why.
It always goes
But
through.
it doesn't all seem to happen.
What do you
But
mean?
here's what. Because we don't care. What I mean by that is, once the night arrives, we're going to have fun no matter
right.
what.
No, but everything everybody got fed.
Well,
Everybody had a good time, ultimately.
But I had one of my big sponsors who didn't have a seat. And I walked past him and I go, Sean, he goes, Johnny, this is great.
Right.
That's
Everybody
the
has a
kind of
good time. Right,
people
yes.
that we have there. Not only firemen and cops, it's a lot to run something like
Well,
that.
we also had so many people that have been on the show
yeah.
that I'm like, oh my God, I was trying to remember everybody's name, what episode they were on. Like, it's like
Yeah.
you start to see, like,
right.
to me.
we got a following now.
Yes, we do. And
It's-
to me,
it's-
the whole Laughter Saves Lives family was
It is.
basically in one room. So
Yes.
it wasn't just like you're commenting on something that you see on Facebook or watching something or being at a show in the audience. Everybody was
People
there.
came that watch us, and that's why I like doing this show here, because it's part of the umbrella of Laughter Saves Lives.
Yes.
You know, we still haven't hit the screenplay yet, and some of the
Right.
other reality shows I want to work on, but it's all part of the whole thing. We're doing stuff in memory of my guys. We're making people laugh.
I didn't even
And-
get a chance to say hello to everybody. Like, there's
Neither
a couple
did
of
I.
people. I'm like, oh my God, I
Neither
remember
did
they
I.
were there. I didn't even say hello to them.
Neither did I.
It was just crazy. Plus, the comics were phenomenal.
Oh, Les Deegan.
Les
sang.
Deegan sang.
And he was having so much fun.
He loves it. He is a amazing. I'm gonna have him as a co-host one.
Yes. Oh, you
very
have to.
soon.
You have to.
Unfortunately, he does the Bean on
Right.
Monday nights.
Right.
But every third Monday is
He's
poetry
off.
night, so that's when
Right.
I got to get him.
Yes.
I either got to get him. I got to see when I can get him.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get him no
he did a-
later than next
He did
month.
a great job Sunday at our little. I called it. What did I call it? The Rising Stars and Laughter Saves Lives Tiny Fundraiser was the name of the show.
This was the show last night,
yeah,
right? Yeah, the one
night.
last night. Yeah.
Bar show. I never do bar shows anymore.
Yep. Yeah. Tough. Yeah.
A little talking in the background.
Yep.
But the place loved it. The
Yeah.
small audience loved it, and the comics loved it. And I'm serious when I say this, and I know I'm jumping from topic to topic because that's who I am. But I'm serious when I say this. There's a lot of open mics in Long Island, and there's a lot of comics busting their ass.
Yeah.
Some of them are funny, some of them aren't.
Yeah.
Okay? But the ones that are honing their craft and have a 5 to 7 minute, I would like to put them on a regular show.
Sure.
Nobody did that for me, but I think this is a stepping stone. Throw a few of them on this show,
And with actual audience type thing, right?
even if it's 10 people.
So people, a lot of our audience don't. They may not know what an open mic is. An open mic is basically
Just show up.
kind of like what it is.
People that are
implies
listening right now could go to an open mic, put your name on there, and go up and do a few minutes of comedy.
Of comedy, right.
Right. And what the thing is, some people do it for a long time and are really not good at it, but they enjoy going out. And other people work at it and get good at it.
and get good
But
practice.
it's hard to get a true response in front of the same comics you do it in front of,
right.
you know.
But see, I'm a bad.
You laugh at
I'm
everybody.
the exception.
Yeah.
I'm a bad gauge as to whether
You
something's
are.
funny. I laugh at almost anything.
You do.
I have a very
You do.
I don't
But
want to say
that's
good
nice.
sense of humor, but I have
Yeah.
a sense of humor. And people like, John, you laughed at my joke hard. It
Yeah.
bombed on stage.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
sorry, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm either a good gauge or a bad gauge. Depends. But I do laugh at the comics. I'm not one of these comics that sits there and goes, oh boy,
Right.
that was good. They should have wrote it like this. I just laugh at the joke. And then afterwards, I might have a opinion, and I like getting feedback on my
So do I.
act.
So do
and
I.
you gave me feedback that time when I had problem
Right.
with the plane.
Right.
And you know what? That was extremely helpful.
Thank you.
And the next time I had an awkward audience moment, I used your advice,
roll with
and
it.
I had a much better result.
Right.
So
The key is, I told you, the key is blame yourself.
blame yourself.
It's
Right.
your fault. Then the audience will go with you. You blame the audience, you're losing them.
You're losing them. Well,
You're going to fight to get them back.
that one was tough because I really was
was
only
tough.
talking to those horrible,
Yeah, it was a
rude
tough
people in the
night.
back.
It
But the
was.
front people were great. But the much better way of approaching it. And like I said, some comics don't like advice. I don't mind advice. I love advice. I've gotten a lot of good advice from a lot of great people.
And we're talking comedy. Maybe a lot of people who are listening don't do stand up. Well, I have to tell you, I teach. If you can deal with adversity from people, whatever you're doing, ignore them or roll with it. In life, you're going to be better off than getting angry and letting it upset you.
Totally.
So.
One of the comics that was in the gala, Jack Clunan.
Oh yeah.
I had him here.
Yes.
This is an amazing story, right?
Oh, he's phenomenal.
I had no idea. He mentions this to me 10 minutes before we go on the air.
Right.
So he's friends with Ed Hearn from the Mets, the Mets catcher from '86 World Series.
Yes.
So he said, "Oh, I can call Ed. You want him to call in?" And I'm like, "We're going on in 10 minutes. You're not going to get him to call." He calls in.
I could have my little league coach call in, but you told me I couldn't take calls.
No, I got Ed Hearn.
I got to Pat Marone call in.
We normally don't take calls, but I had Ed Hearn.
What is that, Hearn?
I had to take the call.
Yeah.
So it was so interesting to talk to him and get the player to talk about how the player sees baseball.
Sure.
So we had done a little segment about analytics. As you know,
Right.
I'm into the analytics.
Yes, you are.
And he is not at all into the analytics. And
Right.
but even
Well,
though
he's old school.
it's old school, but
Yeah.
even though I do analytics on the business side,
Right.
And I'm they use the same tools on the player side that we do for the most part, the
Right.
same computer code and the same
Could we use that in stand-up
what
analytics?
analytics.
Yeah, could we-
I would look at things like laughs per minute.
Could you look at the type of audience, the type of comic, and figure out?
Yeah, we'd have to figure out a way to gather the data. But what I do is I take in every Major League Baseball game. This is going to freak you out. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Every Major League Baseball game generates 7 terabytes of data.
That's terrifying.
Terabytes.
Terrifying.
Most computers come a whole computer with less than a terabyte or a terabyte hard drive.
Wow.
So each game is generating 7 terabytes a day.
Now give me a first inning, first pitch of the game. Okay, what type of things are we talking about that are put into the computer for that pitch?
Well, I'm just trying to find a thing on the Doppler radar that they have behind home plate. I think it measures the ball rotation 2,800 times, 2,000 times a second. I have it right here. We talked about it.
They
a couple
measure the
weeks
ball
ago.
rotation,
2,000 times per second.
but that's not every pitch.
Every pitch.
Well, some pitches spin more than others, right?
Is
that the average?
They take the sample 2,000 times a second. That's not how fast it's spinning.
Oh,
That's the measurement
of the spin. Okay,
every to the tune of 2,000 times a second.
Would you call that 2,000 pieces of information?
I would have to look at how they capture
So
the
ball
data. But yeah.
rotation. Are they looking at the height of the batter, the weight of the players?
So all the player dynamics are inputted.
Well, like, what does that mean, player dynamics?
So any of the player stats, all their stats, but also their measurements.
Okay.
So like you mentioned, height, weight,
Right.
all that's already in there.
How
And then-
about individual things for the specific day?
Yeah, weather,
Whether
ballpark, the weather conditions, the wind conditions, all that's measured.
wouldn't it be interesting though if the player, as before he went onto the field,
Yeah.
they took his vitals, they took his breathing, how he felt today's temperature.
So if you had all that, that would add even more complexity to the data. Now, one thing what's interesting is that all this data, not to bore with the details, but
Right.
there's all these different tables. So you might have one table with all the stats, one table with the measurements of the player. You got to join all that data together
Oh, my
somehow
God.
and link it, right? and now we could get to the point where that when they visualize it, they can look at, hey, a player tends to do better when the pitch is on the inside of the plate versus the outside of the middle. They measure quadrants of the plate,
Sure.
quadrants of the strike
Oh, that I
zone,
could see.
quadrants of the field. So they'll put a shift on. If you know that the batter hits between second and third base, and then they break it down even further. They have even further breakouts of that. X percent of the time, and it's 60%, 70%, you might put the shift on, as opposed to...
But there's so many different things that would matter.
But even though I know how to do all this stuff and visualize it, I'm still a proponent of giving that information to the manager.
Yeah, and letting him make his decisions.
And with the scouting reports, joining all that together and coming to an area where you can give that data succinctly to a manager.
Right.
But I don't like the GM, and I certainly don't want to tell the manager what to do.
No.
Hey, Mr. Manager, here is the data. This is what we're seeing. These are the best probabilities that you have. But I'll give you another example. I was watching a football game, and the announcer said, "I don't care what the analytics say. They shouldn't be going for 2 points here. They should be going for the extra point." Right. And then Carl Banks chimed in, ex-player, and said, "But your kicker stunk in the pregame warm-ups, and he missed the first extra point."
Right.
So now you got to take that. Here's your analytics. But what's the guy doing that day?
That's what I mean. Wouldn't it be interesting if you knew that the pitcher did not get a good night's sleep? He just had a baby, did not get a good night's sleep. Now he's coming to the ballpark to pitch. Is that the same stat you're going to use in analytics?
Correct. Right. So now it's game day.
And if you know
we're looking at the guy. Wow, he doesn't look that great today.
But maybe you know.
Wow, he looks fantastic.
Yeah, maybe you know something that happened to him.
Lineup card. And the tactical decisions in game, I'm all for the manager.
Me too.
I don't like that baseball is even though I'm a proponent of analytics.
Do we know that all the GMs?
We don't know that.
Are they making calls during the game to the dugout? I'm
not a proponent. I believe that the manager should make those ultimate decisions.
So that's why you hire him.
How is the guy in analytics any smarter than the manager?
He's not.
They can provide a good amount of intel to the manager, but they shouldn't be making the decision. But on to football. Today, Eli Manning is they're playing the game now. I have it on tape. Eli Manning is back. I actually went to a Jet game yesterday.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Do you know that the guy who won the tickets at the Almost Gala,
that was the game?
Did he not get his money's worth?
He got his money's worth that day.
However much he paid $20 on the tickets, let's say, for a raffle.
So how many footballs?
Yeah.
I have some football stats here. I know you're not a football guy.
I am a football aficionado.
Okay, how many footballs do you think they use in a season?
In a season, you're talking about the whole NFL. The whole NFL.
The whole NFL.
Counting playoffs.
Yes, each season. Yeah.
I'm going to say each game. Now, I'm not too good with football, so I said I'm aficionado. I'm lying. Mm-hmm. Do they use a lot of footballs per game? Because I would think they only used one football the whole freaking game. Why did they change the football?
So if you notice,
unless he gets lost.
Right. There is a guy on the sideline.
Right.
I was actually at a preseason game, Jet Giant preseason this year.
Yep.
Right. They kicked a field goal.
Right.
And it went over the net into the crowd.
Into the crowd.
So the security people they took it back.
They got the ball back?
They took it back from the guy. Guy caught it.
Right.
Right. He was to the left of where I was sitting.
Okay.
My seats, right. But he was behind the thing. I was on the sideline. But I saw it go through the upright, and I saw the guy catch it. Right.
Okay.
So he was very far away, but I saw him catch it. Right. Then I see the security guard walking over to him. Then I hear people booing.
Right.
And they gave him the ball back.
So balls per game, let's say they use 3 balls per game. I don't know why I'm saying that, but 3 a game. How many games there are each week? There's 16 games. I'm just saying 16 games. 50 balls a week. 50 balls a week times how many weeks? 16 in the season.
Yeah.
That's how many? 100.
Well, I'm gonna give you the answer rather than watch you stress.
500 balls.
Close. 780 each season.
Counting playoffs, 780.
Everything, yeah.
I didn't count the playoffs.
So each, that's okay.
Now, if I count the playoffs,
then you're at 780. Okay, you were right there. You were right on the money. Each club provides 24 game balls for inspection 2 hours and 50 minutes before
24?
kickoff. 24 balls.
Wow.
Once the referee approves the balls,
right,
the K-ball coordinator.
The who?
K-ball. I'll tell you why it's K-ball.
Kickball?
Yes.
Kick?
See, you know more than you think. Takes custody of the game balls.
Right.
So each team has 12 primary and 12 backup balls.
Okay.
Right? Now, in the past few seasons, the balls have the team logo on them.
Okay.
So they all look the same, but each team has so that
Their own ball.
the quarterback is allowed to bring the balls that they want to use based on the feel of the leather. Like it's different. They break it in
really?
a little bit, yeah. So some like it a little smoother. They
Right.
file off some of the wax. They're allowed to do it as long as it meets whatever the requirements are.
Right.
Basically, it's the inflation of 12.5 psi to 13.5
Right.
psi.
And that was the whole Tom Brady
Tom
thing.
Brady thing, right?
They were underinflated?
Underinflated. So I always say, the ref should just check the balls before the game
Right.
at halftime and maybe do a random inspection or whatever. But then there are kickballs. And
The different.
the kickballs have a K on them. Little K mark
For kick.
for kick.
I was right.
And so if you watch a game closely, and,
Right.
and you don't really see it on, sometimes you see it when you watch it on TV,
Right.
but when you're there, I was watching. The ball went the 4th down. They were ready for the field goal. They took that ball out and
Right.
put a kickball in.
Kickball.
Right? They put
difference?
The kickball was a little different inflation
Okay.
and controlled by the league. You know why?
Controlled by the league?
By the league. The
Gambling.
quarterback, they can't.
Gambling.
No.
Oh,
You could put helium in it to make it go further.
stop it.
Yeah.
What, you're allowed?
No. That's
Oh.
why the league controls it. They don't want people cheating, putting a different gas in the ball. See, I think
Why wouldn't you want helium in the throwing ball, too, though?
well,
throw it
then it
farther.
would go. Then it would really affect it. All the balls would go farther.
think
Sometimes
you-
you couldn't throw a short pass. The ball might float away. No, I'm kidding. I always said because they were talking about having after the Tom Brady scandal, having the league control the balls,
Yeah.
or everything. But I'm like, nah, let the quarterback choose the balls they want. But what you could do is before the game, the team gives you 24 empty balls,
Right.
and you inflate them right there.
With helium.
No, with regular atmospheric
Right,
air.
right.
And then you have no problem. It's simple.
Silly.
Everything is overly
Did
complicated.
I ever tell you about the tennis balls?
But isn't that
too?
with tennis balls? They use a lot of tennis balls
They do not.
at the U.S. Open.
They do not.
They do.
No.
Oh, what?
If the ball goes into the stands,
You gotta throw
they
it
go
back.
They
Right.
go get it.
So I'm gonna get this wrong. I think they use about in a tournament about 50,000 balls.
No, that many, you think?
24,000. What they do is the first set of balls they put in. So the balls go 9 games. Then they rotate all the balls out and they sell them.
Or you can play stickball with it, which is
Or
the best.
stickball. No, but they take all the balls out and they put a whole new batch in.
Okay.
But the first set, they only put them in for 5 games because they're also being used in the warm up. So the first set comes out after 5, and then it's after every 7 or 9 games, whatever it is. They go through a lot of tennis balls.
Yeah.
Because when they're playing professional, like you and I hit the ball, our balls probably last a long time.
Oh yeah,
Those
it's cheap
last
to buy balls.
in competitive play like that,
Yeah.
they wear out faster. But very interesting. And at baseball, you ever notice that when
They
the
go
ball
through a
hits the
lot of
dirt,
baseballs, a lot of
they throw them out.
Oh yeah.
But they authenticate them with a hologram, and then they sell them after the game for $40.
And you probably bought one of those.
I did. I bought
So
one.
you knew
The
it.
game that Steven Matz threw under 100 pitches, full game,
Yeah.
shutout against the Pirates in July on Mr. Met on the Moon bobblehead night. It was my niece's first Met game ever. And I said, I always wanted a ball that was, and guess what? I was turning a big birthday.
I would have got you a ball that was game used. I would have signed it. I would have signed it.
So that would have increased the value of the ball greatly.
Absolutely, it decreased.
So here's the funny thing. That ball, there's a serial number on the ball, right?
Right.
So my wife bought me the ball for my birthday. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
My birthday's 8/19.
All right.
The serial number for that ball is JB, John's birthday, 819.
Oh come on.
August 19th is my birthday.
Oh wow.
And then 431, which means nothing. But if you
Wow.
put that into the MLB database,
It'll come up.
it'll come up and it'll say Steven Matz, top of the 5th, to Jose Altuve,
Wow.
and it'll say 73 point whatever mile ball. See, they measure everything.
You know how many Mickey Mantle balls I signed?
Do you know how much a Mickey Mantle ball is worth?
A lot.
A lot of money. Thousands. Speaking of things that are worth a lot of money that I can't understand, sports memorabilia I understand.
Right.
Right? This, I'm going to let you cover this one.
Yeah.
This is the banana.
The banana. Now, was this a hoax or was this really?
No, that's
somebody
real. I got
really
that. I got
paid-
that off multiple news sites.
Was the banana petrified? Is that the right word? Was it protected? Like, did they? So it wouldn't go bad. Wouldn't turn brown.
You mean preserved?
Yeah, I said.
Oh, you mean
petrified.
like taxidermy?
Yeah,
whatever.
Because what good is this thing going to be next week?
So that sold that. So this really, I know a lot of artists. This infuriated them. Some idiot, and I don't use the idiot word that often,
Just
but
when
some
you, just
moron.
when you call me on the phone.
No, I never.
Hey, idiot! Yeah.
Who would pay $120,000 for a banana taped to a wall?
That's what I think.
There are artists out there that are painting these beautiful things, and they sell them on for nothing. What idiot pays for this? And how do I get him to pay for another one? I'll put strawberries on it.
Well,
on
here's
the
the thing. Who did this?
I don't know. Some
Italian artist.
Yeah, Mastro.
And then it's this piece of the comedian. Is the name of it?
That's what I wanted. That's why I
That's what
brought
I'm
it.
saying. I think this guy was looking for publicity. I don't think anybody paid
You
that
think it's
money.
bullshit?
I do. I think he was just looking for publicity, and he got it. It's a smart move. That's a smart move if that's why he did it.
Pisses me off.
Nobody knew who this guy was a week ago or before this, right? Everybody knows who he is. Taped the banana to the wall, sold it for.
Do you want to hear something I did for a friend of mine?
I do, in fact. That's
All right.
why I'm here.
That's why you're here. So a friend of mine had an art unveiling at an art
I'm so
what do they
bad
call it?
with
Gallery in Brooklyn.
So bad.
Me too. I don't know. So I went there. It was after work. We had like a reception there, and she had some good stuff, right? So
What
somebody,
do you mean by good stuff?
her paintings were nice.
They were nice.
So it wasn't just her. It was a bunch.
was an abstract.
A bunch of artists.
What do
No,
they-
no. She did like
nice. She drew like
she did the Brooklyn
a
Bridge.
little chickie in the water and stuff.
No, the
like-
Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's never been drawn. All right.
But it was done in
kidding.
a different way.
Yes, I get you. All right.
So it was really nice, right?
Very nice.
So I said, so this guy's looking at it. He goes, "I've never heard of the artist," and I'm like, "You have never heard of her? She is like the top artiste. You can kiss your careers on other places goodbye." So he goes, "Why? How much would this go for?" "Oh, the Saudi royal family would probably pay. I'm guessing this is off $150,000 American dollars, right?" So he's like, "Really?" So I said, "If I were you, I would tend to buy." Yes. So I pretended I was like this astute, foreign, arrogant art person. He bought 2 paintings from
Did
her.
he? Here's what you.
But
here's
she was, I think they were $350 or something.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, the barbaric to sell it for this price.
You have to. Here's what you have to do with those things. You
What?
do a lot of this.
Yes, that's true.
Wow. I see where you're going with that. So you walk around and don't start a conversation. Don't.
Just go.
Yeah.
Well, that guy was he was being an arrogant prick.
Right.
So I wanted to out arrogant.
And you did.
And I did it
You
in
did.
character.
Was it an effort or did it come natural?
It came natural.
It came natural.
Well, I mean, that character is an
Because that
arrogant
comes natural
prick.
to me. I'm
That-
not an arrogant prick. I'm just an idiot.
Well, what I did to that guy, remember when I got down to spring training when
Yes.
we went in 2015?
Go ahead.
So I had used my points and I flew down
Right.
on American first class.
That's right.
So
First class?
First class. Well, it was 50,000 miles.
Right.
I had 51,000 miles.
All
Perfect.
right.
So, and they were expiring. So didn't lose anything. So everybody's in like a sports jacket, slacks. I get on jeans, Met hat, Met jacket, glove hanging off my Met duffel bag, right? So I'm in 2A. So the
And you're putting the glove up and it's hitting somebody in the face as you're trying to put it up.
no. So this guy's in 2B, and
Right.
I'm like, "Hi, I'm in there." He's like, he looks at me like snarkily,
class.
and he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "It says 2A on the ticket. I'm pretty sure." So I get in, and he's like, "First time in first class," and I'm like, "Actually, it is." I said, "My Gulfstream 4
Oh, yeah.
is in for its annual maintenance inspection.
So I'm slumming.
So my assistant booked me on this." I go, "It's okay, but." You know, I missed my shower. I missed the
Move
pilots.
over, buddy. Move over.
So he goes, "Oh wow." He goes, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm in the internet business." Did I tell him I was the web analyst at a nonprofit?
You don't need
No,
to.
I didn't.
You don't need to.
So I out arroganted the prick. So then this woman in the airport said she sees me and she goes, "Do you play for the Mets?" And I said, yes. I said, yes, ma'am. I'm Matt Harvey. She goes, you look a lot better on television.
You look a lot thinner on top. Thanks, man.
Yeah, she wasn't taking.
That's
any of
like
my
when I
shit.
took my shirt off at the beach. I'm walking with my daughter on the board. I told you this.
Yeah.
I'm walking with my daughter, and she.
You had to
tried
say that when I was drinking water.
She tried to compliment
Got water
me. I
on my
guess
nose.
I take my shirt off, and she looks at me. and She goes, "Hey, Dad, you're not too flabby." And I look at her and I go, "Oh, thanks, thanks." I think.
You're not in bad shape.
By the way, did you see the new video my son put up?
I saw. Oh, I want to talk about your son, Actual Horse
Actual
Comedy.
Horse Comedy?
Actual Horse Comedy. I saw the one with the Piano Man.
No, did you see the one he just put up Friday that he filmed at the gala?
Yes, I did see that one with the
Did you-
comedian.
did you-
Idiot attempts to be general
No,
manager.
did
and
you
then
see the comic? He was looking at the guy. This guy sucks. I can do that. You didn't see
I
that?
saw,
part?
that's what I'm talking about.
No, he had my video playing in the video.
Oh yeah, you were
And he's
Gotham.
sitting
You
on
were
the couch,
Gotham. Yeah, yeah.
and he right before he showed it to me, he goes, "Oh, you made a cameo in this." I go, "When? I don't remember filming it." Right? And he goes, "Watch, this comic sucks. I can do that."
That's you.
It was funny.
First of all, that was amazing.
That was funny.
The Piano Man, and I got to tell you, I don't want to forget anybody because everybody who was in that was incredible.
It was fun.
Except
Yeah.
me. My part was mediocre. But you know who really took the show away?
My dad? No.
Yeah, well, your father always takes the show. But Steve Oliva,
Yeah.
he goes, I came home. I found my wife in bed with two Central American gentlemen. He was so understated, but
that's how- yeah.
I could not breathe. It
was funny.
But he wasn't. He was so.
Well,
I don't know how to describe it.
Because what they did was they let him go.
First of all, the editing was brilliant.
Yeah.
The way he edited that was brilliant. I got to have him on as a co-host.
Yeah. He didn't edit it. His partner did.
Was pointed at, but the whole production and the idea. First of all, the idea.
Actual Horse Comedy we're talking about.
Actual
Take a
Horse
look.
Comedy.
My son's company, I guess you could say.
Production company. Go on and look at all of the different little. They're only a couple of minutes each.
Yep.
They're very short vignettes. What do you call them? Is that what
I
they're
guess
called?
the Billy
vignettes?
Joel one is probably their longest one to date.
But it is phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
it's good.
it is incredible.
It's fun.
Pat destroyed in it.
Yep.
I love Frank Faella
Faella.
was amazing. Teresa was amazing. Everybody was amazing in
Fun.
it.
It was a lot of fun.
But it was just first of all, the premise is incredible. Everybody knows the song.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh, right,
knows the
right,
song.
right.
So it's a common thing. It doesn't matter what generation you are.
Yep.
I mean, Billy Joel sells out every place he goes. And if you think about it, you're breaking down all the people in
Yep.
that song. I don't want
No,
to give too much away.
Watch it.
People
Yeah,
should go
Actual
watch the
Horse.
video. It is just incredible.
Yeah, they do
actual
a good job.
Actual Horse Comedy. It's on YouTube, right?
It's on, yeah.
It's
yeah.
on YouTube.
I want to shoot a skit. I told you with the Dario because it was his idea. The Last Responder.
The Last Responder, yeah.
Like when all the first responders are busy, this is
Who
the
do we
first time
call?
they had to call the last,
The Last Responder.
And they're called like 2 months after the fire's out.
Yep.
You know, just to go and see if they're still selling.
Well, first of all,
lattes.
Tom, I was in Funny Fellows with Tom.
I saw that. That was funny.
Tom's going to destroy. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't. So when we were filming that, as you know, I have a very low tolerance. I laugh immediately.
Yeah.
First of all, they were brilliant. All those guys. I had a
Yeah.
very small part.
Yeah, I saw
But
it.
what a thrill to just be there.
Yeah.
Filming it. But, it was amazing. I'll take any part they give me.
Yeah.
To work with
Tom's
those
mind,
guys.
the way his mind works.
Mine works incredible. And to watch him is first of all, when I walked in on it, it was like surreal because I felt like I was on the set of Goodfellas,
yeah,
the
yeah.
real Goodfellas. And he's filming it, and just I couldn't. I had to bite my lip
Where
to
can
not
you, where
laugh.
can your listeners find that?
They can find if they put Funny Fellas onto YouTube. Rob
Funny
Cividanis
Fellas?
is the writer director. He's incredible. Funny Fellas, it's called.
Yeah, it was very good.
And it's basically if stand-up comedians were like in Goodfellas, like if
Right.
it was like the mafia meets
About
stand-up.
Right.
And
very
it was really, really funny, and a lot of great people are in it that did a great job, and it was just amazing. Now, before I want to make sure we get this in because it's very important to the safety of our
Yes.
listeners, and as one of the greatest firemen,
Oh. No.
can you talk a little bit about Christmas tree safety?
Well, we were talking before, and number one, you have an artificial tree, and
I have an
wish-
artificial tree.
Do you spray any pine around just to get the scent? Because that's kind of nice around Christmas to have that scent.
My wife does stuff with the candles.
Yeah.
Which hopefully the curtains, those ugly 1970s third world paramilitary camouflage
They'll go up in
curtains,
flame?
if they go, how fast will they burn?
They'll burn fast.
Fast, right? So I got to be standing by with an extinguisher
I think you would be standing by with the flame.
with the flame. Well, right, no, but once the flames have done their job.
Yes, get the extinguisher.
No, actually, people.
And that would be a bad idea to have an extinguisher near your tree. That
not a bad idea at all.
Decorated, put it in a box. Maybe you could just put it in a box, a Christmas box.
I have an extinguisher on every level of my house.
You should. It's very good.
Because I have a basement, a fan cave. God forbid there's a fire. There's only one way out of there. I might have to fight my way out with the extinguisher.
Now, if you have a real tree, I'm not the expert here, but I've seen all the videos
Yep.
of how quick a tree can go up.
They go
Why
up-
does it go up so quick? Number one, it's dry.
It's dry.
So you got to make sure you keep water in that tree. We have a really cute little thing.
Now you water the base.
Yeah, it's an extension.
That's
with like a
important
funnel.
because the stupid people out there, they're going to put water on the top of
on
it.
the top of the tree. Right. You water the base, but we have a funnel, big round funnel that sticks out the back of the tree. You can't really see it.
Right.
You can pour the water right into it to move it. So yeah, water the tree
At the base, though.
at the base. People keep them for weeks and weeks and weeks. You can start seeing when the pines are falling off if that thing is getting dry.
But if they don't light it, if they're going to keep it in the house, they don't want to get rid of it right away. As long as they don't light it, they're okay, right?
Yeah, but who's not going to light a tree?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I'm
know?
saying if you can't throw it out for whatever reason, I don't know what that reason would be.
Yeah.
Maybe you're busy or whatever.
Be careful.
Just don't light it, I guess.
Don't
if
leave
it's-
the
if
lights
it's-
on when
yeah.
you're out. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the weather. I got to do the weather. You keep talking about Christmas
Oh,
trees. Yeah.
yeah. So let me. Yeah, he gave me a little sheet here. Let's see if I can bounce.
That's
off
from
some
the
of this stuff.
National Fire Protection Association.
Now, where do you buy a tree? I would think buying a tree in a nursery. We always buy our tree. It's a little expensive in a nursery where my nephew works. Nephew-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And they have really nice trees. I would think if you bought a tree in a place, I don't want to name a store, a box store, they're a lot cheaper. The quality may not be as good. It may be a tree that's a little older.
Okay.
Maybe a tree that might be burn easier. I don't want to, check out the tree before you buy it to make sure it's not dry already. Just make sure the tree is 3 feet away from any heat source. That's a good idea. Make sure it's not near a heat source.
What would a heat source be? Could your
Let's say
baseboard light it up?
Some people burn candles in the house. Number one.
All right, the candles. But
Lights.
what about your radiator?
Yeah. What about lights?
But
Light
is your
bulbs.
radiator enough to do it?
I wouldn't think so.
No, not hot enough.
But then
Does it get
again,
that
if that tree gets really dry, it's goes up like
Now,
that.
the LED lights, I think, are safer, right? They don't generate as much heat,
Correct.
and they're cheaper to run.
Make sure your Christmas tree is not blocking an exit here. Don't put it in front of your front door.
They really have that in the.
They really have that in here. When the first years I got my tree, I married Paula. We were pregnant. She was pregnant.
We were pregnant.
We were pregnant. She was pregnant. And we tied the tree to the top of the car from the outside. I realized we tied the doors shut.
You tied the door.
We tied however we tied the tree in, and we did it. So I was like, oh, she was pregnant. I don't know how many climbed through the window to get back into the car. People are watching us, and it was like,
See, I always thought you were like this elite firefighter.
I'm not elite. I'm not elite.
But what you do know, because I have driven with you in the city, John knows like all of Manhattan. You were a chauffeur in the city, right? You drove a Chief and you drove a truck for a long time.
It's interesting you say chauffeur. Around the country,
Isn't that what they call the driver?
engineers, they call them sometimes. They call them a driver. They call them different things.
But we call it the chauffeur.
Only in New York.
But the volleys we call the volleys we emulate the
It's an
city,
yeah.
right?
Only
Because
in
all
New York.
all the guys that I learned from
There
were,
may be parts of Jersey, but as I go around the country, there's another thing in New York. It's only in New York, and if you watch Blue Bloods, only in New York. What do they do when they call for an ambulance? Get me a
bus, right? A bus.
Get me a bus. Nowhere else in the country.
Nowhere else. What do they say? Ambulance.
They'll say ambulance. Some of them say a rescue. Is it
Right.
ambulance?
Yeah. But we say bus.
Only in New York, bus, and I don't know why. That's something that we have to look up.
Why are they doing all these shows about Chicago fire, Chicago police? How come they don't do New York?
They did.
What they
did
do?
all these
What they
shows.
do in New York?
NYPD Blue.
Oh, right, and they did Third Watch.
Where was Hill Street Blues? Was that?
Was
that
New
Boston?
York?
That was
New
New
York?
York.
No, New York. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just because I see now they're doing one Vegas Med or Vegas Fire.
Really?
It's coming out. I think it's Vegas. Yeah.
Well, we got to
A
do
new
the
show.
weather. We got to do the weather. You want to help me with the weather?
I would like. to
Actually,
help
you're
you
gonna
with the
pick.
weather.
You're gonna pick the celebrity
It
that's
rained
gonna do the
today.
weather.
I would like. I would like Bloomberg.
Bloomberg to do the weather.
Bloomberg is coming into the presidential race, so we need to hear him more.
Okay, so
For
you
him
want
to get more
Bloomberg?
votes, if people want him to win,
Right.
whoever you, we're not political here. Well, I don't know how political you get on your show here, but
Try to keep it light.
But Bloomberg
Bloomberg for the celebrity weather.
Bloomberg for the
Celebrity weather report.
presidential candidate.
Michael Bloomberg.
That's the guy.
Long Island, rain, breezy, highs in the mid 50s. Southwest winds 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. New York City, again, rain. A lot of rain. Tonight, rain likely. Tuesday, showers are likely. Wednesday, it's going to be 60 tomorrow. 60 and 36 degrees. And then it's on Wednesday, rain and snow are possible. For those of you that don't speak English, Liaqua di rain el Tuesday-o, Wednesday-o, with possible snow-o. I love watching him try to speak. You know what? People have complimented me. People of Latin descent come up to me every time I do Bloomberg in
Oh,
Spanish.
yeah?
They flipping love it. I did a show up in the Bronx, 75% Latino, right? And I'm like, oh, I hope they like it. I never got more laughs for that
yeah?
bit than I did there. After the show, 20 people are lined up to talk to me about the Bloomberg. How'd you come up with it? I said, I just watched him during Hurricane Sandy talking about, if you don't speak English.
Maury
And he
Langdon-
sounds ridiculous when he speaks
does.
Spanish. But it's funny. And I saw one guy in the front row. He bent over laughing. He couldn't. He loved it.
Maureen Langan worked with him.
I
side
know.
by side. She says he was a really nice man, a really hard worker.
Yep. It's gonna be. It's gonna.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for yet. I really don't know.
Well, I mean, for my comedy career,
Well,
like,
that's a different
I don't
story.
care who wins as long as I can do the voice.
Of course.
And that's been my policy. If I can imitate them, then that's who I want to win.
Never use lit candles to decorate your tree.
Never use lit. They had to write that in the thing.
Well, now I don't know how old this is.
No, I just got it today.
No, but where this list
but
came from? What did they use
NFPA.
back in the day? But back in the day, what did they use to light their trees?
But-
Candles.
But people of that, they don't know now.
John,
today.
people
People are
use barbecues
people
in
are
their kitchens
stupid, yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
I've responded to someone's home, an apartment building in Manhattan that had
Yeah.
a full barbecue going right in the middle of their kitchen.
Full barbecue.
Full
in the middle of the
barbecue,
kitchen.
crank it up.
With
Dogs
the
and
propane?
burgers. Nope.
What?
Charcoal.
Charcoal in the kitchen.
And then we had to argue with them that it's illegal to do that. You can't do that.
People just don't. I mean, it's bizarre.
Yep.
What else you got there? Because we're almost at the end of the show.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Be safe with your tree. Enjoy your tree. Shut it off when you're not home.
So the tips are to water it.
Water it, I think, is the main thing.
Ideally, use LED lights. I think are the safest. They
Yeah.
said
I think watering it is the main
watering
thing.
is the main thing.
And check that tree out. If it starts getting really, the thing stuff.
But why
falling
not
off.
just buy an artificial tree?
I had an artificial tree growing up.
Mm-hmm.
We always had an artificial tree. I didn't know any better, but now that I buy real trees every year, the smell, it's more Christmassy.
More Christmassy. I'll tell you a funny, quick story at the end here. We, my wife went. We used to have. I like the different colored lights, the multicolored lights.
Right.
My wife decided she wanted to do something a little bit more elegant, so she went with a white tree, white candle, everything white
Nice.
for Christmas, right? So at our garage sale, which if you ever want to meet the weirdest people in your neighborhood, have a garage sale.
I have.
And I was selling the lights.
Right.
So I was selling them for 10 cents.
Right.
This woman comes up to me. She's like, "How do I know they work?" I'm like, "I'll plug them
Plug 'em
in,
in,
right over here, right?"
Right.
So I plug them in, and I'm like, "See?"
There you
She's
go.
like, "Oh, I can't tell with the sun." I'm like, "Lady, I'm using 10 cents in electricity." I said, "Buy them for a dime. Take a chance."
Exactly.
She looked like she
Oh,
went
yard
to
sales are the
you know,
worst.
the 10-cent slots in Atlantic City. I said, "Take a chance on the lights." lady."
Yard sales are the worst.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
So people were asking me, like, we were selling furniture. They're like, is there anything special about the furniture? I'm like, yes, it actually belonged to Jacqueline Kennedy.
Yes.
And after they left the White House, my wife acquired
picked
it.
it up.
What do you mean it's something special? It's a freaking, it's Raymore and Flanagan. It's like,
Funny.
people are crazy.
Well, now what time do we have to go to?
I don't know. When
5-2?
Bobby tells me that we're done, then we're done.
What do we go to, Bobby? 5-2?
Yeah, it doesn't. There's no show after.
Oh, there's no show afterwards,
we
so
can
we
go to
can
12 o'clock.
We can go to. No, no, can't go
We
to
go to
12.
midnight.
So, what else can you tell us about hazmat around the holidays?
Hazmat around the holidays.
Household stuff, not the exotic stuff you deal with.
Yeah. What else is dangerous around the holidays other than your Christmas tree and?
Are there any things with cooking that could, like grease
Well,
oil?
you see what happens with those dopey people with the turkeys. That's mostly Thanksgiving.
With the
but-
deep frying.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. When you have Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
I just like a regular turkey made in a regular oven with stuffing. Now, I don't like that rice and sausage. That's not stuffing. That's rice and sausage. Bread-based, stovetop,
Oh.
that's stuffing.
I like
With the
sausage.
gravy.
I like a sausage stuffing. I love it. You don't like sausage stuffing?
No.
Oh, it's my
No,
favorite.
now if you put
I like that
sausage-
more than turkey.
If you put sausage in the stuffing, like if it's a bread-based,
That's what I said.
oh, that's okay. I'm talking about rice and sausage mixed together.
I don't know.
You can't sell that as stuffing.
No.
Right.
No.
Can't sell that. When is Hanukkah, by the way? Because I got to do the Adam Sandler Hanukkah song.
It's coming up.
Next week, I think we'll do this Adam
it's definitely
Sandler
coming up.
Hanukkah song.
Yeah.
I was a big hit. I did the turkey song as Adam Sandler. A turkey for you and a turkey for me. You've heard that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I did that as Adam Sandler. That was Jack Cloonan sang with me.
Oh, yeah.
Big hit. So,
love Jack Cloonan.
So I got to do the.
He's going to be part of the Responders Tour. I've added him in there.
Oh, he's amazing.
It's a wonderful story. The audiences love him. And he's funny.
Very funny.
He's very funny.
Everybody that performed at the gala, I mean, you had some big acts there. You had Megan Friend, Jack Cloonan, Teddy Smith, Leanne Lloyd.
Yeah, it was a big success.
Who else was there? We didn't co-MC. We were talking about doing that, but we
No,
not
we did it
happening.
last night. Frank and I co-MC. That was
That's
fun.
cool. I like that format.
Yeah.
So what do you got coming up? What events? How can people help LaughterSavesLives.org?
We got
the website.
our veterans show at St. Albans on the 22nd. We're going to supply a meal. We do that once a year with
Mm-hmm.
the fruit. We're going to seems like we're getting a lot of volunteers. My daughter's coming and singing. Frankie's daughter's coming, telling 2 jokes and playing the saxophone.
And this is the St. Albans Veterans
St.
Hospital
Albans
in Queens.
In Queens.
And I've done it many times, and
Yes.
it's very nice. You wheel the comedians. Some of them are wheelchairs.
Not
to
the comedians. You're not
I
wheeling the
have
comedians.
the veterans. The comedians wheel the veterans
You
down.
usually wheel the comedians
to the,
out.
to
Yeah.
the show. Bobby, if I screw up like that, jump in anytime.
No, it's going to be wonderful. It's
Bobby's like, what the hell are they talking
You
about?
know, I did a show a few weeks
But we
ago.
wheel them to the room.
Yes.
You do the show for them.
Yes.
And then you feed them a nice dinner, a nice meal,
we're
fruit,
going to sing. We're going to have some singers, some singers.
all different kinds of entertainment, and then we bring them back to their room.
And I tell you, some of the best part about it is wheeling them back and forth and talking to them,
Yes.
listening to their stories.
Well, I had that guy who was a tail gunner on a
They're
B-25.
treasures.
That
These
guy was
guys,
amazing to talk to.
You know, and nobody visits them. Even the families, some of the families don't visit these guys, but nobody's going to St. Albans Hospital to visit these veterans.
Right. But we all once a month.
Yeah, I wish we could
Saves
do more,
Lives.
but it's nice. It's a nice experience. I've had big time comics tell me that was the nicest experience they've
Yep.
ever had in comedy.
Yep.
So I ask you,
You will be sainted someday, I think.
I don't know if I'll be saying
There'll be a Saint
John,
John LaRocchia.
You know what it is? I need
The Hazamatician.
I need more money. You need more money. We all need more money. But there's nothing that replaces that feeling.
Nothing.
When you do something for somebody else that has nothing,
Right, and we hit a bank on the way back.
and
And then we get the money that way.
Good people.
All right, so we're in wrap up. So just one more time, if people want to help Laughter Saves Lives.
LaughterSavesLives.org. Go on there, check us out, make a donation. Thank you.
And thank you again for listening to the radio. I want to thank my special guest celebrity co-host, John LaRocchia, president of Laughter Saves Lives. And Bobby, thank you again for producing the show. And that's it for this episode of The Radio.